Since 2011 with Mortal Kombat 9, NetherRealm Studios has released a fighting game every 2 years between Mortal Kombat and Injustice. Mortal Kombat 1 breaks the pattern, being released over 4 years after Mortal Kombat 11. But does this extra time in development bring in the best Mortal Kombat game yet? Or does it fall short of expectations? Let's find out. Hello everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to The Casual Gamer. This is my review of Mortal Kombat 1. To begin, let me just say I am not a fighting game expert and am very much a casual when it comes to these games. I can't talk about how in-depth the combat goes too much as I just don't have the knowledge to do that. There are many channels out there that can do this far better than me, and I recommend you check those out. Now in saying that, I do love fighting games, especially when it comes to Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Tekken. My hope with this review is to help those of you who are casual like me in deciding if this game is right for you, whether it's a must-buy or if you should wait for a sale or just pass on it. I did play this mostly on PC with an RTX 4090. I played a little of the PS5 version, but not too much. What I did play on PS5 seems to run and play just fine. I'll talk a little bit about my performance in the game, but I would check out other channels for a more detailed analysis about the performance across the platforms. Apparently the Switch version is not that great, so just do your research before you purchase the game on Switch or another platform if you're going to do so. Also, let me just say that I will not be showing footage from the story as to avoid any spoilers, and I'll only talk generally about it. So let's start by talking about the visuals and performance. Again, I played this on PC and I think the game looks beautiful, especially on an OLED TV. Many stages are vibrant and colorful, while others are dark and grotesque. If you are familiar with the most recent NetherRealm games, then you know they have always done very well when it comes to the details of the world and characters. Characters are very emotive and expressive here, and are voice acted well for the most part. It takes a bit getting used to some of the voices, as they are different voice actors from the previous games, mostly, like Raiden for example. I do miss Richard Epcar's voice and hope he will return in the future in some capacity. However, I think the new voices are fitting for the characters here. I'm not a big fan of Megan Fox's voice acting for Natara, as it just seems off in comparison to everyone else. Now again, I have heard the Switch version lacks a lot of the emotion and graphic quality, so just a heads up if you're leaning towards the Switch version. The blood effects are also great here, though, and fatalities have never looked better. I think a lot of you guys will love the visual look of this game. Performance on PC ran well for me for the most part. The game offers DLSS, and I played the game with max settings at 4K. There are not a whole lot of options to change, but there is a decent bit you can adjust. Every fight ran at 60 FPS and usually dropped a bit during loading or scene changes after a fight. The cutscenes in the story also ran at 120 FPS mostly during the cutscenes. I'm not sure if that's something unique for me or if that's just the default FPS, because at the end of the story, some of the cutscenes ran closer to 30 FPS. So depending on your PC specs, your mileage may vary with performance. Again, I did not have any issues with the PS5 version for the little that I played. However, I would not be surprised if the game has some FPS drops in similar areas. The story of the game takes place after the events of Mortal Kombat 11. Again, I won't say too much about the story because I know a lot of you don't want spoilers. I will say this because it's pretty much public knowledge, but the story does revolve around a new timeline that has been created by Liu Kang. The story is just as high quality as the previous games, and for the most part, I liked it a lot. There were some things that were predictable and other things that I did not see coming. The story was not super long and could easily be finished in 1 or 2 sittings if you have the time. I don't know the exact times, but it felt a little bit shorter than Mortal Kombat 11, but there are about 15 chapters to play through. The ending got a little crazy. Some things were cool, but it kind of fell just a little bit short for me. However, I had a really good time through this story, and I think it is absolutely worth playing through. Now, beside the story, what else is there to do? Now, of course, there is online content. You can try your hand in ranked matches or just play casual matches against other players. I did not have issues in the few matches I did online, so the connection did appear to be good. But again, I can't offer too much on that as online PvP is not really my thing. I play it, but I'm not very good at it. I know a lot of you guys are like me and want to know what there is in the offline PvE content. Now, the game is completely single player, as far as I can tell, by the way, minus, of course, what you play against another player. There are no co-op fights that I have seen in the game. Now, Besides the story, there is a mode called Invasions. Here you can select a character and cameo character, which are basically assist characters that aid you in combat. You basically move your character across several nodes throughout various maps, and apparently these maps and content will change throughout the seasons. On these nodes, you will fight various characters and collect in-game currencies. You will also level up your account and character masteries. Leveling up your account level and character masteries provide rewards such as new cosmetic items and additional cameo characters. Enemies you face can also have certain modifiers similar to Mortal Kombat 11. However, you can purchase items that can help you counter these modifiers. For example, one of the modifiers basically had like a bat that would kind of fly across the screen and shoot fireballs at you, and there's items that you can buy to help negate some of that damage. Every character is also assigned an elemental value, and some characters take more damage or deal more damage depending on the elemental matchups. The mode shows you a chart of what is effective against what, and you can freely change characters or cameos to adjust if needed. There are also talismans and relics you can equip and upgrade to assist you as well. Invasions have been pretty fun so far, and it seems like this is going to be kind of the bulk of the offline content in the game. Now you also have the classic arcade towers that you are used to from previous games here, which you fight opponents until you get to the top, and each character has a unique ending from finishing a tower. You still also level your character masteries and accounts from doing towers, and there's not really a lot to talk about here, but just know that these are your classic standard fights in Mortal Kombat. There is of course also a versus mode where you can fight a single battle or against your friends here. Now, there is a pretty good tutorial in the game as well that teaches you a lot of basic and advanced techniques in the game. There's a lot of good information here, and I highly recommend going through them, especially if you are new to fighting games or Mortal Kombat in general. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there is customization in this game. You cannot customize moves like you could in Mortal Kombat 11, but you can change some aspects of your appearance. There are 23 characters in the game and 15 cameos that can be customized to an extent. Regular characters have a single gear piece that can be customized and also have outfits that can be swapped. There are also different colors you can collect for those outfits. And I believe cameo characters only really have colored palettes that you can swap between. If I'm being honest, I think the customization is a bit lacking as there were not many skins or gear pieces that I really liked. There is a seasonal store that used a currency which you collect mostly from invasions, where you can buy the seasonal skins and items that last X amount of days for that season. There's also a premium store, which of course has a currency that you buy with real money. You also collect gold, which can be used to gain a random piece of gear, skin, or artwork piece for every 1,000 gold. You do get some items from playing through the story, but most customization items will come from leveling your account and masteries. The grind does not feel terrible, but it is still a bit of a grind if you plan on maxing the mastery of every character. Some of you will like this, and some of you will not. I personally don't mind it, and I bet there will be a lot of customization options added in the future. On a side note, one thing I did notice is there is cross progression across platforms. My levels and cosmetics did carry over from PC to PS5. I assume probably because I have my Warner Brother accounts linked. However, I just wanted to let you guys know that. Story progress, however, does not carry over. You do have to redo the story if you're playing on a different console. Like I said before, I am not an expert in fighting games, so there is a lot I can't speak about when it comes to how good the fighting is. However, I have been enjoying the characters more than I did in Mortal Kombat 11. I played mostly with Melina, and she felt great. She felt faster and seemed to have more options than she did in MK11. I found it easier to find and do more combos, which I had a harder time doing in Mortal Kombat 11 for whatever reason. The cameo system is also nice. It kind of acts like assists in Dragon Ball Z Fighters, where you can kind of use them to extend combos, which is really sweet. There are plenty of stages to fight in, and of course fatalities are there, and a lot of them are as amazing and as gruesome as you would expect. One thing I did notice in the beginning of the fights is there's not really a lot of intro dialogue, and it's mostly characters either yelling or staring at each other, which is a little weird and an interesting choice rather than having them have unique and open dialogue every time. Now, I enjoyed the combat though, and I plan to spend a lot more time with it, learning Melina and other characters. Now, I would definitely recommend this game if you love fighting games and Mortal Kombat. If you are someone who does not really like fighting games, I'm not so sure this will win you over, but I think it's worth trying even if you have to wait for a sale. and at least for a PC, Xbox, and PS5, I see no reason not to give them a try. It is definitely a thumbs up for me, and I think a lot of casual fans of fighting games or the Mortal Kombat series will have a lot of fun here. It was also really cool to see characters that were put in the game that have not made an appearance in Mortal Kombat for quite a while, and I look forward to the future of Mortal Kombat, and I'm excited to see what they do next. That's it for me, but I hope this video helps you make a decision about the game. If you have played it, please let me know what you guys think about the game in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, and I will see you next time on The Casual Gamer.